just about to start welding up a billet of Damascus for some twist, a couple twist knives. And while I'm waiting for my forge to come up to temperature here, I'm figured I'll just let you know how I do it and maybe why. A couple things I do, and show you around a couple things I do. Hang on. I use hydraulic press and a power hammer to do my welding, and a pipe threader, rigid pipe threader, to do my twisting, which will twist this all quite neatly. You can look other place on my YouTube channel there, and you'll see something about twisting with Mr. Twister or something. I've been doing that. I've got that thing put together maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and that's what I use to twist my large stock Damascus. Anyway, it's 15N20 and 1095, and I still have a pretty good supply of some old stock 1095 with vanadium, which is in this billet. It's 3/8 thick and 1 5/8 wide, so 4 inches long, and a billet like this, I can get quite a bit of steel. One thing I do when I am building my billet is I take those pieces of tool steel to the grinder. Not so much to grind off the mill scale, because quite honestly, you really don't have to. It don't make any difference. It'll just become part of the billet anyway. It's iron oxide. But what I do on the grinder is I create a crown, just a little bit of a crown, a ridge, running right down the center of that piece of tool steel, which creates little gaps out on the sides of the billet. When I get up to heat and I'm ready to set this first weld, I go to my power hammer. When you smack that, the heels of my hand are the center of the billet, and if they're spread out a little bit like this, when you smack it, it literally squirts that flux out. It evacuates the flux from the billet so it doesn't get trapped. Which, I don't know if you can see, but these big plates here, I have these 2 big plates on either side of my power hammer, and one in the rear, so that when I smack that, the flux doesn't go flying all over the place. On the very first weld, I mean, you know, you've got literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's 19 gaps here that are filled with flux. That's a lot of flux. So on that first weld, the first time I smack it, it squirts all the flux out. Now I've got a solid billet. I take these things off so I can work, but that just keeps me from setting things on fire. Once I get that weld, this is only a 50-pound Little Giant. With my press, I'm going to come and grab the camera, and well, I'll show you this. I'll show you how there's some dies in there that need to come out. I'll show you how I change my dies. And you might also see some secrets. These are infinitely variable stops. They're 1-inch diameter bolts that hit the bottom of the shoe that holds my dies, and being 1 1/8, it get a 1/8 inch movement in a 1-inch bolt for a full revolution with 6 facets. Mean every time I turn a facet, basically 20 thousandths. So I can dial in a depth real easily. Anyway, those don't need to be there. These are big flat dies. Now I'll do a majority of the reduction with some flat dies. Not I have drawing dies, but I'm going to use flat dies because this isn't going to be a twist, and I don't want to screw the pattern up very much. So I use flat dies to reduce it. If I'm really want to draw something out, I'll use drawing dies, and it'll also help distort the pattern for random and stuff like that. But anyway, that's the basic idea. That's locked in, this is locked in. Got a foot pedal. Two-stage pump. Oh, as well, I've got, when I really want to get in and take care of something, I've got a hand control. On-off switch. I'll pull this out of here. This is the basic idea of that layout. I got two anvils here, tongs, really stout leg vise on with an anvil on it. With an anvil, it's a railroad track, big block of steel on top. And it's on wheels, so I can tip that backwards and go forging with it. This is right now coming up to heat. It's not as hot as it looks on the camera. And here's my horizontal I just built. Boy, it's dark here in the corner. I like it kind of dark when I'm forging. Anyway, that's for when it gets too hot. Get some air moving. Quench tanks. This is my unit for my press, which is also on wheels, so I can roll it out of the way. Anyway, I'll be forging here shortly. And then I come in here. This is my sawhorse. I can just clamp things down with C-clamps. My grinder, got vise sitting there to lock things in. Here's a gadget, just a C-clamp that's welded to the top of the horse. You can just clamp your ground onto the horse and do welding, and I don't have to worry about hurting things. And kind of got it by an open door here so my sparks go outside. So there's a secret new gadget, my upholstered stitching horse. This is where I do my stuff. And this is another thing I do, is I've got a gadget right there, which is an adjustable deal that I clamp spacers to, kiss blocks, on my power hammer, so I can forge to, you know, I can either be that thin, or I forge it all the way up to thick like that. Different increments. So that's what I'll be doing. And this is a steel plate to kind of keep me safe from springs breaking and keep oil from flying out on me. Keep my fingers out of the, got all my fingers. It keeps my fingers out of the important stuff. Anyway, I'll be forging here shortly. So maybe I'll show you the twist when it comes time for that. Hope some of this just might help people. And if not, give you an idea how it happens at Anderson Forge. Which is right there, Anderson Forge. Well, I wasn't necessarily going to, but I'll go ahead and just show the initial weld, and you'll see how some of the flux flies around, and sort of get an idea how that's 1/4 inch plate steel. They're kind of heavy pieces, about 2 feet square, but you'll see why they're there. Anyway, I'm ready to do the initial weld. So fire in the hole. reflux. I refluxed it. Put a little flux on it. I'm gonna stick it back in there, bring it up to heat one more time, and then I'll go and really start reducing it on the press. I don't know if you can see me or not. I don't know. Anyway, background noise, there's that fan running, got my air mover working. I was brought into the knife world by Jerry Radis. Been around a long time. Made a lot of Damascus. And he's an old Marine, and he beat it into me, whether it goes, no matter what I'm doing, building the knife, making Damascus, forging regular steel, whatever you do, stack the deck in your favor. I go, you know, if I don't think it's up quite up to heat yet, I'll leave it in there 10 more minutes. You want a good weld, you want to get that flux out of there, you want to do a lot of things. This is going to be twist. What I've discovered, and I don't know if a lot of us understand that when we're twisting large stuff and doing twist, you know, everybody out there that made twist has seen it happen, how you start getting tears when you start forging this stuff down flat. It starts tearing out on the edge, on the edges. What I'll do with this billet is it's welded now. I'll give it one more kiss on the power hammer, work it through there, then I'm going to reduce it until it's about, inch and a half thick. I still want to see, when you lay it up on edge, I still want to see all those little edges of all those layers. There's two pieces of 15 and 20 between each tool steel, so there's a lot of pieces in there. There's 20 some pieces. And I'll put that on my grinding horse, my welding horse, and I will lay it edge up and take my grinder and I will grind off all those little ridges until I have a perfectly smooth surface on the side. I don't want anything in that billet that is not a weld. Don't want any, irregular edges. I grind them off till they're smooth. And I have found, and I'll do that just to get 2 more welds. So that's 13 layers right now. I'll get 39 and then the 117 or something layers before I twist it. On the next 2 welds, I will grind off until there's no little gap. And I've found, because I think those little irregular edges later on down the road precipitate tears. So I eliminate them now so they don't become a problem later. And I'm not saying it'll totally eliminate it, there's other factors, but always stack the deck in your favor. And I have found that little thing, grinding the billet smooth, helps eliminate and drastically reduces the amount of tears that you might get when you're starting to forge twist flat. So anyway, back to work. Well, I wish I had shown the initial reduction there I did on the press, but here's what I'm going to do. I've got my stops in there and I got it set for about 1 inch. I'm just going to show how this press works. And of course, 2-stage means it's pumping fluid so that the ram moves real fast until it meets resistance, and then the ram slows down, but it kicks up the pressure for squeezing. But anyway, I just want to show you how this press works, and I don't know if you can see, but no, you can't see it. I'm doing this. I've got a foot. I'll show that. Here's my little foot lever. Here, let me show you. I'm moving that ram up and down right now with my foot, okay? So, let me get it back up here. That's what's going to be happening. That way I can keep two hands on the workpiece. Here I go. Brush the scale off real quick. to the stops. That's an inch thick now. Just well, I'll do that. Stack it back in the forge. Okay, I don't know if this thing can see me or not, but I also have some, I'll turn that up on edge and use some depth stops to make it an exact width, so that when I cut that thing and restack it, I don't have any weird overlaps of edges in my multiplication welds. They're all the exact same width and same thickness, and when I got to grind it off, it's nice and smooth. And these big, the last thing I'll do before I cut and regrind is I'll lay it on these, about 10 inches long. I'll lay that billet and get everything nice and flat, and true and square, and it makes a re-weld real simple. Okay, I thought I would show this quickly. This is a pretty good chunk of steel right here. It's 1 1/8 square, 1 1/8 square, and luckily I got done forging that. And this is, well, let's see, what is that? That is, it's a foot long, so it's foot long by 1 1/8 square. But anyway, I got done forging this and pulled it down square, and I went and had lunch. Let this cool off, and I came back and I ground the ends. See these here? These are 8-point impact sockets. And that fits right in there. And that is all I need to twist this bar of steel. These are 8-point impact sockets, so I just grind them square, and I wanted to show these are all 8-point impact sockets. I can go all the way down to, this is 3/8 of an inch, and 3/8 up to 1 1/8 inch, 15 16ths. I got pretty much all the increments down to 3/8 for smaller multi-bar stuff, and if I just want to, you know, anyway, you get the idea. And I will use these on my pipe threader. That's all I need. So here in a minute, I'm going to fire up this forge and get it going for the twist. So we'll be back later. Twist Damascus update before things get too busy where I can't hold on to things. My steel, or it's not in there yet, but the horizontal forge is getting hot. You can probably see that. That's getting hot. And here is Mr. Twister. And there's a foot pedal down there. This deal here where I'll slide my steel into this impact socket. I'll have a socket on the other end, and then it will go into the pipe threader. I have a foot pedal down here, so all I got to do is walk up to it, slide my work in, and hit the pedal. Another thing I do, which I started doing a long time ago, and the majority of people just in life, you know, are right-handed, and so many times I would do what a lot of other guys do, is walk up to a piece of twist, like in a vise or something, and we just have this tendency to twist things clockwise, right-handed. Well, when you're looking at the signature side of a knife, and say that the tip of the knife is going out to the left, if you twist it clockwise, then the twists lean back toward the handle on the signature side of a blade. If you twist it counterclockwise, then the twist angles out toward the tip, and that's the way I like to do it. So I twist my twist going, if you were to do that by hand, it'd be like taking a wrench on a nut and loosening it. Anyway, that's how I go about it. Won't be long now. Actually, it would be counterclockwise. When you're looking out this way, it's counterclockwise. So many people want to twist them this way, and then that brings the dealie back to toward the handle. Anyway, getting up there now. Let's take a look. Where's my where'd those go? I lost my tongs. Did I use? No, I didn't. They're right here. And of course, it's never as hot as it looks on camera. It looks like yellow hot, but it's just a dark orange. Got a ways to come up yet. All right, later. Okay, here we are again. I've done this in another video, but up there in the top right hand corner of your screen, you're going to see an elongated tank. It's sitting on an electric burner on a little dolly where I move around. But I've done this before, but for those seeing this for the first time, and we're getting very close. That billet's in that forge and is about up to temp right now to ready to twist. And I'm going to pull it out of that forge, and for the most part, you're just going to see my feet until I get over here. And I'll pull the billet out of the forge with some tongs, and I'm going to quench the ends in that quench tank. Not so much as to get them hard, because it's so, it's an inch thick, it's not going to get hard. But I'm going to cool it off in hopes that it will help the corners where it goes in the socket to keep them from rounding over, get them a little firmer than just, welding temperature, soft steel. Cool them off so they get a little more hard. And that, once again, is another thing I do based on my old friend Jerry Radis, who says always stack the deck in your favor. So coming shortly here, just a couple more minutes, and I'm going to rotate it, make sure it's all evenly heated, and then I'm going to twist it. So I'll be back. Okay, well, the time is now. I'm going to go do it. It's funny how intense a moment like this is. It's just a twist, right? But there's a couple hours, 3 hours of work and material and gas and time invested in it. It gets pretty intense. It's either going to work right now or it's going to be a failure, and there goes a day. But anyway, I'm going to go pull it out, quench the ends in that tank, step over to an anvil, put a socket on one end, and then bring it over here. I hope you can see that right here, there's one socket on this, and then this gets slid into the pipe threader, and I'm going to step on that pedal. So here I go. Wish me luck, by the way. Quench one end, quench the other end, put the socket on this, walk over here, stick that end in that socket, drop the tongs into the pipe threader, lock her down, step on the pedal. Quit right there. Unlock things. Oh, perfect. I want to quench this socket. Kind of cooled off. Quench this socket. Wow, those things are hot. Now, probably not good for the temper on the sockets, but I don't really know what they're made of. What we have, and I will use, and the ends are perfect, I'll use the square ends for tangs, so I don't lose anything. Something I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this, lock it in a vise, and take a grinder and kind of grind some of those threads off there, smooth it up a little bit.
Just had to show this. I just had to show this. I love it.
Cameras make things look far more dramatic than the flame really is, and the color is not yellow. It's, you know, it's orange. It's not that hot, but that's because there's flux. That's from the flux. I'm kind of fluxing that billet and just forging it down some. Anyway, and you'll notice right there's my feed line to my blower, and right there's the flame. I figure I'm preheating my propane. That's a joke, guys. That's really a joke. It's not hot at all. That's a joke. Carl Anderson does not preheat his propane. Anyway, just a bit of humor.